Many of you might feel that summer is just beginning. It's the season of clean air. But I want you to open your weather app. There's an AQI indicator. Click on it and scroll down. You will get the exact reading of the PM 2.5. But did you know that the guidelines made by our government and the guidelines made by the WHO, that is the World Health Organization, are vastly different? Look at the three tables on the screen. These are minute particles present in the environment, microscopic solids or even liquid droplets. They are divided into three groups based on their size. The largest are PM10 particles. Their size is 10 micrometers or even less. They usually include dust particles or pollen of flowers, etc. And the second category is PM 2.5 for pollutants whose size is 2.5 micrometers or even less. They are so small that if you compare them with human hair, their diameter is almost 1/30th of the hair. And the third category is PM 0.1 for pollutants as small as 0.1 micrometers or even less. They are known as ultrafine particulate matter. They are the most dangerous because when you breathe, they can travel through your lungs and reach your bloodstream. That's how small they are. One simple thing to remember about all these PM particles is that the smaller the size, the more dangerous it is. When you breathe in through your nose, most of the PM10 particles stick to your nose or throat. These cause inflammation, infection, sneezing. This is how our bodies filter out these particles. This is a natural defense system. But for fine particles like PM 2.5, this defense system doesn't work. And they can easily reach your lungs where they can cause swelling, increase the risk of asthma, bronchitis, and many more health complications. In pregnant women, air pollutants affect the growth of the child, the development of the child in the womb. Organs like lungs and heart remain underdeveloped. It also increases the risk of premature birth or the child's death during delivery. Air pollution is much worse in North Indian cities as compared to South Indian cities. Geography is one of the primary reasons for this. In North India, during winters, the atmospheric thermal inversion process is underway. This is a natural phenomenon that occurs in winter. At night, everything is cold. Everything is quite cold. And then when the sun rises in the morning, it hits the air at the top first. This hits the upper layers of the air. This hot air settles on top of the colder air. Are you understanding me? This hot air settles on the top of the colder air. And the colder air that's closer to the ground remains there at the ground level. And the PM particles mix with colder air and stay near the ground. They don't easily get the chance to rise up into the air and get blown away, as they do in other seasons. But what is the exact reason behind air pollution? The first and biggest reason is vehicular pollution. All the vehicles, buses, trucks and two-wheelers running on petrol and diesel produce a poisonous cocktail of carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides and hydrocarbons. In every big Indian city, these vehicles are the biggest villains in turning the air poisonous. And the second is that in cities, government's actions are increasing car dependency, expanding roads and building wide highways and flyovers. This means there's less space for walking and public transport. And even those who don't want to use cars are being forced to travel by car. Take Mumbai for example. In 2016, vehicles were responsible for only 16% of pollution. Now, this figure has increased to 30% because of car dependency. Compared to walking, cycling and using public transport, cars occupy a lot more space. If more people travel by car, there will be more traffic. This is happening in our cities. Instead of spending money on roads and highways, the government needs to spend on public transport. In cities, metro, buses, trains and trams need to be promoted. Can you imagine what will happen over the next 10 years? Because of the crowd, long waiting times, unreliable services, etc., people avoid traveling by public transport. All governments urgently need to address this. They need to improve train and bus services. Because if we don't do this now, air pollution is going to get worse over the next 10 years. Today, if you look at any developed country which has cleaner air and equally high population density, whether it's China, Japan, South Korea, or Singapore, despite the high population in all these countries, how can the air remain clean? Because these countries offer excellent public transport facilities. These countries impose high restrictions on driving cars. In Singapore, there's even a total limit of the number of cars on the roads. Now let's come to the second biggest reason, which is quite interlinked with vehicles: dust. Whenever someone drives a car or rides a bike on the road, a lot of dust is blown into the air. This is known as synergistic effect. This dust, along with the emissions from the vehicles, become even more dangerous. To reduce the impact, you must have seen news about using how anti-smog guns or spraying water, right? So when there is a lot of pollution in winter, by doing so, water is sprayed into the air, which then carries the dust back to the ground. This is a temporary solution, but the long term and a proper solution is to have the right infrastructure. Once again, this is a temporary solution, and the real solution is the implementation. So to control the air pollution caused by any construction site, it is necessary to install dust and wind breaking walls all around it. There are regulations about it in our country, but these regulations are often not implemented. At most construction sites, they put up a small sheet just for formality. Apart from this, trucks carrying sand and cement release so much dust when they travel to and from construction sites. This seems so simple, but this is the harsh reality. The rules say that these trucks should be completely covered up before leaving the site and their wheels should be washed. But these rules remain on paper. The fourth cause is stubble burning, where the dry husks are set on fire. The air pollution caused by this isn't as much as you would expect. And the fifth and final major cause of air pollution is industrial pollution. Industries related to chemical, textile, cement, steel, refinery and power plants cause the most pollution. Along with PM 2.5, they release sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides and carbon monoxide into the air. We need strict regulations on a national level to curb these industries. We are talking about movie heroes and what they said about movies and cricket. Our media keeps us trapped in one significant issue after another, and our politicians are happy about this because it is easier for them to focus on issues than solving complex issues like air pollution. Are you getting me? Now the question is, what should be done next? We need to raise our voices and pressurize all the governments to act on these right solutions. There are 5 main cities in our country. In each of these 5 cities, what are the exact causes of air pollution? In Delhi, about 50% is due to vehicles, 11% due to industrial sources, 7% due to construction sources. The rest of it is from the outskirts of the NCR districts, where stubble burnings play a significant role. In Kolkata, vehicles account for 50%, industry is 24%, dust is 21%. In Mumbai, vehicles 30%, industry is 18% and dust is 15%. In Hyderabad, dust is 32%, vehicles 18%, industry is 5% and construction is 8%. In Chennai, which is the cleanest city out of the 5 roads, dust accounts for 28%, vehicles 23%, industry is 20% and construction 4%. And in Bengaluru, which is relatively clean too, their industrial pollution is next to nothing. Around 50% of the pollution there is due to vehicles, 16% due to dust and 11% due to construction. So what are the solutions? First and foremost, public transport needs to be promoted on a larger scale. The central government needs to do this for metros and trains, and the state governments can do this for buses. But where will they get the money? The money spent on highways being built for vehicles can be better utilized here. Second, take off the older polluting vehicles from the roads, please. Vehicles older than 15 years, these cause the most pollution because their emission standard isn't up to the mark. The government is already planning to strictly enforce these. Third, the rules to cover the construction sites should be implemented. There needs to be regular checks on construction sites in the city. Fourth, governments should spend on controlling stubble burning by providing machines like happy seeders to the farmers. And fifth, to control the road dust, they need to fix potholes, proper footpaths should be provided, and vacuum road sweepers should be used so that the dust doesn't blow up into the air. Many municipalities often hire sweepers to clean the streets, but this doesn't help because sweeping makes the dust go flying in the air. Next, for industries, strictest standards for emissions norms be enforced. This has to go in hand. Only then we can make this world a better place, a safer place, and a healthier place. So let's join our hands together and make this world a better place.